Hello everybody, Assalamu alaikum. Now we are on the final stage of our web related uh, video. For this is for the service provider or the SP. We log into the, we have given a web interface for SP so that he can manage the services that are allocated to him, or if he wants to take in some services. So I'm logging into SP with the username and password, and here I go in. And one thing I want to do is want to tell you is that SP registration is something that we are still a little concerned about. At the moment, the way that we are registering is that the SP is given a link. He fills in all his details of registration, same as the customer in profile, and then the admin approves that, and then only he gets access. Now, I would want to be very clear whether this is the process that you want to follow. We are implementing it this way at the moment, that a link is given to the SP, he opens it, he fills in his details, he logs in there like registration, and he fills in all his profile details, and then once he saves it, these details go to the admin. This all happens in non-real time, and the admin approves. Once he approves, then a login credentials are generated for him. If this is the process you want to follow, please let me know, and we are continuing to implement it this way. Thank you. Now, coming to the dashboard for the service provider, his dashboard is very similar but not exactly the same as the admin. In this case, he is more interested to see the service requests that are floating. So you have the service request that is there is, say, service caterer, the customer details are here, the cost is here. This cost is actually the cost that the SP cost, which is going to be very different from the cost for customer. Now this cost for SP will come from the whatever we saw in the previous demo of admin console, that when we create a sub-service, we also create a cost. So that is going to be reflected here. What is the cost of the total service, and what is the date that is created, and what is the current status of that. So we say okay, and then once he wants to assign it to someone, so he looks at the this thing, this one. There is a problem here, I see. Okay. Now here we are, where we are saying that what are the service details that are there. He looks at the details. These are the same details that the customer has entered while he is filing the service request. And this request form has everything. In addition to that, he also has an option where he can assign all the agents which are matching this requirement. That means, in terms of this, the availability of the agent, the nationality of the agent, the duration, and everything. If everything matches, then he gets a filtered list of agents that this thing that match this background. We click on it, and it says okay, submit. So as soon as he does that, the backend sees it, and it sends in the response to the backend of the application, which in turn sends it to the customer as the SP's offer for the service. Now it all depends on the customer whether he accepts it or not, but usually if he accepts it, then we go into the stage which is known as pending. That means that the customer has completed the payment formalities, the payment process, and now the services are assured. The service provider needs to send the agent on the specified thing. So this is the list of all those services that we see and the details that are there. Then we have so we can either allocate, or we can maybe deallocate, saying it is open. These two options are still under development, so I don't want to get into this. And then we have in services. Now, what happens is every SP who registers in Khidamat has the option of registering for one service or multiple services, but he has to explicitly go and register for that service. So, what happens here is that okay, this guy has registered for all these services as we see it. That he has registered for a driver, he's registered for hospitality and catering, commercial worker for cleaner. So all this, and now he wants to add some more services. So here you see, okay, what is the service that is there? Now, as we have added two more services there in our admin console, which one was the parlor and one was maybe in housemaids we have nanny. So let's go to the parlor one. We have parlor, and in this parlor again we had a hairstyle and pedicure. We are looking at hairstyle, and then we have active or inactive. Maybe sometimes you want to register for it but you don't have the people, so you can register but be in the inactive mode. At the moment I'm saying it is active, and I say okay, I submit it, and now this should be reflecting here. Let me refresh it a little bit. I think it should come here. Parlor. So now it has come, and action here is basically you can either register or make it active or inactive. Those things are, so this is one part of what the SP has to do, that he first of all has to register for the services. Depending on what services and sub-services he's registered, all the service request forms pertaining to that registered sub-service will send him alerts whenever they are available, and it will depend on him whether he accepts it or not. He will only get alerts for the services that he is eligible for. That means for which he has registered, number one. Number two, he has agents which are free for that service. All of them gets captured here. There's this agent section which is still under development, so I don't want to get into that. But there's this payment section which is basically where I want you to tell me whether the fields that we've identified are good enough or not. Is there anything else that you would want to do? Because service ID, payment ID, date, user ID is basically the ID of the customer. Customer ID, which is going to be hidden from the SP, but this is for reference for payment. The amount of payment that is to be made to the SP for that specific job, and the status. And of course, the service type should be basically, we should change the service type to the first column. We'll do some changes there. So these are the things that we are doing on the service provider side. We should be done in the phase 2. There are some things which I may not have discussed yet for phase 2, which will also be completed. Prototype 2, sorry, not phase 2. I would like to correct myself continuously. Everywhere that I have used phase 2, it is prototype 2 for this. So all this will be done in prototype 2. So after the prototype 2, we should be having our SP, admin console, and customer applications completed in all aspects except for admin console, where the dynamic template will need special attention. We'll talk about it in the final one, and also the customer portal, which will be part of the final delivery. Rest of everything will be part of the second prototype. So with that, I think I will complete this, and I will close this here.